Part
It
3.
felt like he didn't care, but I could tell that he did care, if that makes sense. It was like a deeper feeling in the dream than that of in real life. Usually it's like in real life, it feels like, okay, screw you, or whatever. And it's kind of that sort of energy. But in the dream, it felt different. It felt deeper. But yeah, I had to add that. But yeah, back to the dream.
When I decided to get up and leave, he wasn't still ranting on the way he was when he leaned in with that intimidating lean towards me. He didn't say anything after that. After I said, "Look, Dad, I gotta go." But I just kind of left. I walked out the door, and I don't remember what else after I walked out the door. But I remember at one point we were at some baseball game this time, a local game or something, and I remember him, like, all the family was there, but we were separate now. He was sitting by himself in a crowd of people in these booths, or in this crowd in the stands or around people he didn't know. And he was eating like a bag of something, like a snack or something. And my family were all, like, a bunch of us. It was like highlighted. It's crazy how the dream was. I could see him in a glowing aura, in like it was like a dark gray or dark blue or dark grayish blue, but with my family in the crowd, they were like, but that aura over there was glowing like an orangish yellowish red, like the sun. But it was like the dream had me heat sinking, like sort of like heat view. What do you call it? Heat vision? Could see them, and but him, he was. That's what to come to think of. That's what it was. He was like a cold color, gray, like dark, like I said, grayish blue by himself, and but with all of them was like a bright orange, reddish yellow. And but I walked over to him to check on him, see how he was doing. I was like, "Hey, Dad, you enjoying the game?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm enjoying the game." And he looked up at me. The way he looked up at me was like a yeah, like up eyebrow, a sort of pursed up eyebrow. Not as bad as that face he made when my cousin and me walked to the door. That was scary face. That was a crazy looking face. But this one was just like he was just looking up like, yeah, yeah, I'm having fun. Kind of like humdrum, like, and he eating his popcorn or whatever that was. And so I'm like, well, hurry, Dad. Just all right, I'll be over here. Because I didn't want to be around that energy in the dream. I could really feel that I didn't want to. I wanted to sit with him, but then for my comfort and safety and for my emotions, I didn't want to sit with him. And that's kind of how it is in real life. I don't want to talk to him when he calls. I do want to talk to him when he calls. It's like I call expecting something different every time. But every conversation, I usually get off the phone upset. I recently had to remind myself of God's word and saying that, putting on saying to myself, "Hey, Mark, you should put on the full armor of God." Ephesians 6:11 is one of my favorite verses of protection, and the Bible is just a reminder, like, you have to put on the full armor of God. And that it's a comfort right now with me saying it. And in a conversation me and him had in my waking life last week or 2 weeks ago, which upset me. I got off the phone very enraged. I just felt horrible. I'll talk about that one later. But I had to remind myself about Ephesians 6:11. But back to the dream. So I walk away from him at this point. It's nighttime. He's in the stands, cold grayish blue. I walk over to the family, bright orange, reddish yellow, and we watch this game, but it was like only for a short time. We get up and we all start to walk out of the little area, and my dad comes up to me and he grabs like my shirt, like on both sides of the shoulder, and he was like, you're making a stupid decision hanging out with them. You're making a dumb decision being around that side of your family. And you know what? You're gonna effing fail. You're gonna this and that. And it was just like this, it was just the very hurtful rage and hatred he had in his tone. And I just want to chime in for a minute. My family on my mother's side is not that bad. I mean, every family has their flaws and their problems. We're all human. Nobody's perfect. I'm very much so imperfect. I've I have some things that I, as a human, regret. You know, everyone has regrets, problems, issues. We all get sick. We all bleed red. So everyone has problems, but the way that my dad was expressing it in the dream as if they were a bunch of hoodlums, like gangsters, or just a problem. And my father himself has a history of being that. Some issues with, some getting into trouble and stuff like that. I won't say what, but it's just a lot of, you know, but he's changed, and so yeah, it was insane the way it felt in the dream. It was as if my mother's side of the family is horrible, and they're not, And so I don't know, but yeah, back to the dream. And I was like, but Dad, like, he's like, but it's the people you hang around. He was like, that, like, it's not about you, it's people you hang around. That's what'll make you be weak or whatever he was saying to me. It was just like he was grabbing me and it upset when he was saying he was angry, like really drilling this into me. And it was that I started crying. The feeling, like I say on that other, it's a short video I have on here where I say like that feeling where you're crying but you can't. It's like you're crying but there's no tears. You can't draw any tears, but you're crying, so all of the pain and hurt wells up in your throat, and the heat just wells up in your throat and at the back of your eyes and in your head. I felt that in the dream, and I saw my cousin, the one that's my age. She walked up, she was like, bro, like, let's go, man, let's go. She was holding my wrist, and she tried to, just walk away. Like, she was holding my wrist, like, to try to walk, and she walked the other way to pull me away. And he was still holding on to the shoulder portion of my shirt. And my arm goes up, as she's pulling me, like, hey, like, let's go, bro. And that felt like in that moment I was being torn between my two families. And his rage, in combination with the way I felt about how he felt about that side of the family, about them, it was just a very emotional moment. And I have it more, and it's more in my mind. It was more hurtful when I woke up than it is now. But it hurt just enough for me to wake up crying earlier. It was terrible, man. But at that portion, I wake up, and I know I did a lot of rambling in this one. It was less dream, more venting, but I'm going to vent. I am going to vent. Yeah, but this dream is the dream that made me wake up in the most tears in a while. The last dream I had like this was me waking up and me hanging out with my grandfather, and my grandfather, is no longer with us. My dad's dad is no longer with us, and my dad's dad had that same aura about him, just the anger, the rage, but he treated me like I was his little angel, like, growing up, my grandfather was, he- the best. He saved me from a lot, man. He saved me from a lot of situations, things that were going on uh, my mother's side of the family. Um, and I remember that. Like, I can't forget that. Um, Not everything, he couldn't save me from everything, but when he would come to get me, it was, yeah, he came to get me, to pull me out of certain, situations. And like I said, I won't go into it on here. Um, I don't want to bash anybody. I'm walking different now. I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself, because I haven't been perfect. No man, no woman or man under the sun is perfect. And I can look back and on many things that I've said and done where I'm like, yeah, I regret that. Some people, oh, I don't have any regrets. People don't want it. That's a fantasy, thing that I mean, you can say that you don't have any regrets, and that is a plure of confidence that you are fully obligated to, which is okay. It's okay. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but me, I have some regrets. And, I have many regrets, things that I should have done that I didn't, things that I shouldn't have done, things I shouldn't have said, things that I wish I did say, jobs that I wish I took. Um, I'm gonna be clear, I'm gonna be open and real on here. And I have regrets. But I don't let them tear me apart. They did in the moment that they were fresh, but I'm not gonna let them kill me. I'm not gonna let my regrets kill me. Um, but and you shouldn't either. But yeah, I wake up from this dream, man, and yeah, I just lose it. I lose it. And it was worse in the dream. It was more dramatic than, that's why it hurt so much. It wasn't as simple as how I just explained it. But if you were there, like in that moment, that emotion in that moment, and just his rage and my cousin trying to just pull me away, she wasn't dramatically pulling me away. It's just she had my arm and she was just trying to walk the other way, and I could feel her pulling me. And she had no emotion. Like, I mean, not that she had no emotion, but she was just kind of done. She was fed up with my dad's energy in the dream. I could tell, and she just wanted to protect me. And she just grabbed my arm and just started walking the other way, and like strong in the other direction, pulling my left arm, while my father was, had my shoulders, the shoulder portion of my shirt, and just yelling in my face and making me feel bad about being around the people I care about. And it just I mean, I care about all my family. Like, why is it that he has to chime in when he, like I said, in real life? I'm going to talk about this. I got to just be open. I'm not going to be limited. He calls. I'm going to be limited to an extent, but I got to get this out. He calls and he just says the most hurtful, like, condescending things. I'm like, you don't have to call and bash people. And maybe it's because, and usually I guess when people do that, maybe I think it's probably because they wish that they had part 4 coming up next. Whatever the people that they're bashing, that they wish that they had that. But it's not that with my father. My father worked